Hey Youpers, Vivian here with a video tutorial today. I'm going to focus on some of the tools that you can use with your Sizzix Big Shot, in addition to the dies and embossing folders we're all really familiar with. This is a set of 3 embossing diffusers, and by using them, you can emboss only certain parts of your papercraft project. By using the larger piece in place of an acrylic plate, you can emboss the border, or if you choose the interior piece, the circle or the long oval or the egg shape, you would be able to emboss just that area as well. This is another set, an embossing diffuser set, and these have some more angular shapes. An arch, so these are all very useful basic shapes. A large rectangle, and a square. So you would use these in your Sizzix sandwich. Normally we use 2 acrylic plates. Instead, if you were to use these embossing diffusers, you would use 1 acrylic plate and 1 of these. I'm going to be making a trio of cards today using some beautiful papers from Authentique. This is a rather new collection from Authentique called Harmony, and this collection pack comes with stickers and cardstock elements and these beautiful papers. That first one I just showed you with the feathers is my absolute favorite. And then you have some of these stickers as well. Let me just quickly show you some of the pattern papers. I love the sort of yellow ochre color. It's one of my favorites, and I really like to pair that with that light blue. The nice thing about these papers is one side you have smaller patterns, and on the other side you have a larger pattern. So depending on the scope of your project, you can use one or the other. Some natural elements, birds, flowers, botanicals, and some more simple patterns, like some large stripes like this, that are just a little bit more decorative than plain cardstock, and you can still emboss them. Here's a small bird pattern, and then a larger bird pattern. And this more folksy color pattern. This is also one of my favorites in the collection. There's a smaller and a larger. Make a beautiful mini album. And some pretty blossoms. That one also has a larger and a smaller. I'm also going to be using some Sizzix Thinlit dies. This is number 659701. These are new. And I'll show you, once we get going with the card projects, how to use these Thinlit dies, these wafer thin dies, with our magnetic platform, which really holds these dies in place, so you eliminate the need for tape or washi tape or anything to hold your dies down. The magnetic platform holds them in place. So this is the magnetic platform. You lay that down, and you lay down 1 acrylic plate. Then you lay down your cardstock. And then you lay down your wafer thin dies with the cutting side down. See how it snaps to the plate? And then you lay your second acrylic plate on top and send it through your Big Shot. These dies make some really pretty flowers. I hope you'll agree. You'll see later in the video how they turn out. But because they're not so intricate, you can just shove your finger into the middle and push out your die cut. It's really easy. I just pushed each petal up with my fingers, and I'm going to use some chalk ink from Clear Snap, Colorbox chalk ink in yellow ochre. This is one of my favorite new colors, and it's really made me fall in love with chalk ink because it blends really nicely, and it's a very earthy color, this one in particular, and it dries very fast. I'm using a little applicator that's also from Clear Snap to apply the chalk ink. You can use a bone folder to make softly curved petals, but I found that for this particular die set that I liked the look of crumpled petals better. So I just crumpled them up with my fingers. And I actually made a layered single blossom with one, two, three, 4 layers. After playing with this die set today, I realized that I think this is my new favorite blossom die. I'm going to just put one of my buttons from my stash in the center with some hot glue. But I think it's just very pretty and very delicate. And you'll see later I have another card that I'm going to show you that uses some of the other dies in the same set for a blossom that's just a little bit different. So this is another die set from Sizzix. It's 6 dies. It's a Framelits set. It's called Enchanted, and it's number 659702. And you get all of these lovely framing elements. And some are curved with beautiful arches and points. Some are squarish with notches. This last one, the largest one, is really gorgeous. It's got a lot of nice detail. And while you could use that hole to frame a rather large photograph or some other element, you could cut the edges off or cut portions of it and use it to draw the eye in different directions in your project. I just want to show you a perfect example of how this magnetic platform comes in really handy and makes your craft much more efficient. My wafer-thin die isn't getting kicked around. The magnetism of the magnetic platform is holding it in place, and I get to push it exactly where I want it, so the stripes are exactly where I want them, and send it through without having to add any tape or any little bits of adhesive to get the die to stay. I think whatever dies you're using that are wafer thin, this magnetic platform becomes very useful. I wrapped a portion of the card with several lengths of very fine hemp twine, and I added one of these words from the sticker sheet that came in the Authentic Harmony set. And I also used the edge of a scissor to distress the edges of that largest mat. And I'm going to adhere the whole thing to a card base. So I showed you guys the embossing diffusers at the beginning of the video. I'm going to use those now with an embossing folder and a simpler piece of pattern paper from the Harmony collection from Authentic. I'm intentionally not centering it. This is a 6x6 elegant embossing folder from Sizzix, and I will superimpose the name and ID number on the screen here for you. And you open your multi-purpose platform for this particular embossing folder to tab 1, and you lay down an acrylic plate and your embossing folder with the cardstock inside, and then your embossing diffuser on top, however you would like the embossed pattern to come out. So I'm intentionally not centering any of it. So you can see here you get a partial emboss, and that circular area in the center you can do with whatever you please. I'm going to use the dimensional cutting pad, which you may not have heard of before, to create a partial die cut. For die cuts that are bilateral, I believe that's the word, that are the same on both sides, to the left and to the right, like this Movers and Shapers butterfly. I'm setting it down right in the center of that open circular space that I created with my embossing diffuser. And you can see there's a little indentation in the middle of this dimensional cutting pad. And wherever I place that, the Big Shot will not cut. So this butterfly will be attached right down the middle, but the wings will be free. And I've seen some of my teammates on the Sizzix blog do some beautiful things with some of the larger dies, some of the Big's insect dies. And it's the same effect, but larger. And you can do some fun things by being choosy about what color you place underneath to make that partial die cut really pop. So here are the 3 cards that I made. The one on the top left uses some of the other floral dies that you get in the Coquette set from Sizzix, number 659701, using the pattern papers from Authentique and a little bit of craft and a partial cut of that lovely large frame from the Enchanted set, number 659702. And in the second card to the right, you can see the pretty flower that I illustrated in the video, plus some of those pretty frames and a little bit of pearl pen in some of those corners. And in the bottom, you can see the card project with the use of the embossing diffuser as well as the dimensional cutting pad. I hope you enjoyed my video and that it inspired you to check out some of these supplementary tools from Sizzix that can help your die cutting experience go more efficiently and help you create some things that you didn't think were possible. The magnetic platform, the embossing diffuser sets, and the dimensional cutting pad. Thanks so much for watching. This is Vivian Contadina K. You can find all the products in the description box below on YouTube, as well as on the blog at Sizzix. Bye-bye.